How's it going, everybody? Welcome into a brand new video. I actually had a really fun time playing the Fuzzy Buddy Research Day event. It was a really good time. Lots of interesting spawns, and of course, because we play PvP on this channel, we focus on Pancham. Before we go any further, I want to extend a special thank you to Captain Pico, aka Morizao-san, for gifting me the ticket for the event. Thank you so much. I had a lot of fun, and it would not have been nearly as fun without your help. My goal was to play some Pangoro, and I know that double water has been a very popular strategy, mostly with Azumarill and Lapras, but I wanted to bring back an older water type as well. This team has a ton of offense, a ton of charge attack pressure, and a ton of fun gameplay, so let's jump right in to Pangoro double water. We are going to go ahead and lead our Pangoro. In the back, we've got our safe swap Shadow Feraligatr and an Azumarill as well. Now we see Claydol in the lead, which is a really nice Pokemon for all three of my Pokemon to see. I've got two water types and a dark type. Claydol has basically nowhere to go. Opponent safe switches into the Shadow Drapion, and honestly, even though you're a fighting type as the Pangoro, you really do struggle in this matchup. It's not very comfortable, especially when the shields are still up. I'm going to go for the Night Slash bait. Opponent shields, which is really good for us. I'm going to go ahead and shield here in kind because I already took the first Aqua Tail. It's going to deal a lot of damage if I take another one. And the poison things are really adding up. I would argue they're adding up even more than my Karate Chops are. Now, I do safe switch the Azumarill in to catch the Aqua Tail. We've seen this a ton in the Championship Series. We saw in Stockholm, Nickname did this quite a bit. We saw in Brisbane that Godzilla did this as well. So Azumarill's a good sponge, especially for that Drapion energy because all of it is resisted. I'm going to go ahead and throw the Ice Beam into the Shadow Galarian Weezing counter swap. This Pokemon I still do not have because I did not play the event. I evolved all of my Kanto Coughings into the regular Weezings and unfortunately missed out. But every time I see this Pokemon, I get just a little bit envious. Gonna bring the Shadow Feraligatr now and let all of these cannons rain down. Gonna go ahead and sludge that charge attack, or excuse me, shield that sludge charge attack. And now my opponent comes back in with the Drapion. Drapion is going to be forced to shield that Hydro Cannon. I swap into the Pangoro and I go for the Night Slash here. I think this will not be enough to KO, and it is not. I could have gone for the close combat there, but you'll understand why in just a moment. Because the Shadow Drapion is able to KO the Pangoro, it means I get 3 more Shadow Claws with my Shadow Feraligatr. In comes the Claydol. At this point, this is a question that I had in my mind. Does Hydro Cannon with Stab or Ice Beam with a little more energy cost do more damage? The answer is Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon plus 2 more Shadow Claws does pick up the knockout. Opponent's Galarian Weezing comes in. We need 1 more Claw to get to the final Hydro Cannon, and we're able to do it. It is a really nice Game 1 victory here for our Pangoro double water team, inspired by the Fuzzy Buddies research event. Gonna go ahead and play this game number 2. We have a Shadow Kanto Marowak lead in this next match. Gonna go up for the Night Slash and then probably gonna make a pivot here because I don't want to start shielding Bone Clubs. My opponent is gonna decide to shield the first one though. That's a little bit encouraging. I love making this play against 3-turn fast attack users. Throwing the single Karate Chop, switching on turn 3, and then on turn 4 when they throw their charge attack, we throw our bubble. So we're able to get a free fast attack there, which is a really nice nuance. Opponent comes in with the Golisopod. Shadow Kanto Marowak Golisopod actually seems like a really fun duo to play. There might be something to this team. We'll see if I can pick this up later. Opponent is going to throw a charge attack Aqua Jet, not doing a lot of damage, of course. I do reach to play rough, and they do a great job of realizing that, throwing the second Aqua Jet before I get to the charge attack. But I think I'm going to get to the play rough regardless. I do take 2 more Shadow Claws, which you can argue maybe I should have thrown immediately, but my opponent is going to come back in with the Shadow Kanto Marowak, and this is where things are going to get a little bit tricky because I'm behind big time on energy, and even though it's only neutral, these Mud Slaps and Bone Clubs are adding up really fast. Gonna throw the Hydro Cannon now into that Shadow Kanto Marowak. Opponent decides to shield. This must be a pivotal point in the matchup, and this must be their best answer to a Shadow Feraligatr. Again, so many people have forgotten about this Pokemon that they just don't prepare for it. We are able to outpace that third Hydro Cannon, which is what dreams are made of in this situation, as we're able to KO that Shadow Kanto Marowak. In comes the Carbink. I'm going to go ahead and bank the Hydro Cannon, swap into that Pangoro, and now we get to the close combat. These rock throws are going to be resisted because fighting resists rock for some unknown reason, but close combat does connect. And now looking at this Pokemon, it is well within Hydro Cannon range. Power Gem does connect. Resist it or not, because of the debuff, that is going to be enough. And now we send out our Feraligatr to throw the Hydro Cannon. That is a GG's checkmate into our opponent's Carbink, which is definitely a spicy pick, something you don't see very often. Definitely a fun Pokemon to bring. I think Carbink did finish within the top 4 in one of the India qualifiers, which is super, super hype. But we don't see it in GBL that often, so that's the point we're at. Next battle, Pangoro versus the Lapras. This is definitely the place I want to see it. Sidewave is super effective versus the Pangoro's fighting typing, but it resisted by the dark typing, so it's only neutral. Opponent swaps into the Talonflame. Now, at this point, I know that the Azumarill is probably like a safer swap, but I like the idea of having the Azumarill for that Lapras later on in the battle, instead of having Feraligatr for it in opposition, right? Gonna go ahead and throw 2 more Shadow Claws and then the Hydro Cannon into this Talonflame to try to pick up the knockout. Talonflame decides to shield, and this might be a misjudgment of the energy, because I think I can outpace to another move here. I'm only 2 Shadow Claws away. 1, 2, opponent swaps into Lapras. Very heads up play by them, but we are heads up as well. Gonna go back into the Pangoro. Not really worried about the Sparkling Aria here. It is gonna deal a meaningful chunk, but we are gonna take neutral from the Psywaves, and it's gonna take 6 Karate Chops for each of the Sparkling Arias, so we are well within the range to double up on the close combats. First one connects, Lapras goes down, in comes the Talonflame. We get 1 more cheeky Karate Chop just for a pinch more damage. Second close combat connects, bam, Talonflame goes down. Final Pokemon is Annihilate, and the opponent doesn't even want to see what my third Pokemon is. They top left out of that game. So very, very nice for us. You made it to the halfway point of the video, so I will tell you a couple of core breakers for this team are Serperior and Morpeko. Both of those Pokemon are very difficult. The third core breaker is right here on the screen, and that is Toxapex. What a beast, what a dog. Toxapex is the problem. Gonna go ahead and build up a lot of energy here on the Feraligatr, expecting to switch out at any time, but the opponent doesn't go for it yet. I think they realize that once I switch in this Pokemon and I get it up energy, it's so, so dangerous. But now that I've emptied both my Hydro Cannons, it might be a good time for them to swap. Opponent is going to throw the Charge Attack here on the Charge Attack priority. In case it's the Sludge Wave, I'm going to go ahead and shield here. Just a Brine, which is a really good play by them. They come in with a Quagsire. Quagsire is 5-4 to the Aqua Tails. I remember this very painfully in a game that I played today, and I'm not going to forget it anytime soon. Gonna swap now into Pangoro to try to get some use out of this Pokemon because it's so hard-walled by that Toxapex. Opponent throws the Aqua Tail. I'm gonna try to get to another one, but they are 5-4, so they're a little bit faster than I am. I think, though, that if I shield, I can go ahead and double up on the Night Slashes. I'm gonna throw the close combat here. If they think it's a Night Slash, it is gonna knock out this Quagsire, and oh, they actually shield. I take it back. Salute retracted. Opponent does get to another Charge Attack. Aqua Tail will be up to KO at this point. I'm going to come in with the Azumarill and try to gather some energy on this Pokemon, because I know that even though Toxapex is the hardest wall in the game for this Pokemon, even a little play rough can deal some meaningful damage. That's just the name of the game in competitive Pokemon Go, is that every single Charge Attack, even if it's double resisted, does do a tiny bit of damage, and sometimes you have to work with those neutral or even resisted scenarios in order to find the win cons. Going to bring in the Feraligatr now. It's Toxapex yet again. Gonna go for another Hydro Cannon. Opponent makes a wonderful catch on Diggersby, but if I can get to one more Hydro Cannon, this might be all she wrote. I do not want to take a Scorching Sands on the Azumarill, so I'm able to get to the Hydro Cannon here, but wait, is this actually a good play? Because now the opponent is able to throw the Scorching Sands into the opponent's able to farm down with Toxapex and build up to a potential Sludge Wave. Can we outpace it? No! Toxapex gets to the Sludge Wave here against our Azumarill. Super effective damage. Azumarill cannot tank that much punishment, so it does get KO'd. Very, very unfortunate for us there, but you could argue I could have done a couple of things differently, and I probably should have if I wanted to win that game. We're going to take on the LAIC 2024 champion. This is LNDS Harjeff, one of the best in all of LATAM. Harjeff, shout out to you if you're watching the video, man. I appreciate you so much. Definitely look up to you, admire you quite a bit. Opponent swaps into the Shadow Drapion. Cradily is a tough Pokemon for this team unless it's lined up against Pangoro. So I am going to look for a swap here pretty soon. Going to throw the Night Slash. I do take the shield. Go into the Gator now. Opponent is going to get to the Crunch here. I'm going to go ahead and shield. I know the switch timer is also kind of flirting with being over in a moment here. I'm going to go 4 more Shadow Claws to try to to get right under that switch timer timing and get this charge attack off. It does pull the shield from Harjeff, and now he's able to throw out a second charge attack. I'm gonna go ahead and give up my second shield here as well. It's just the Aqua Tail, nice play by him. But I am able to get off one more Shadow Claw and then a Hydro Cannon into this Shadow Drapion. This will be enough to KO. Now, Harjeff has a decision to make, comes back in with the Cradily. Can we charge attack party tie on an Ice Beam? Yes, we can, and he realizes that he's such a genius. He swaps into the Spiritomb. Not really anywhere to send this energy, but Spiritomb will have to do. I'm gonna go ahead and try to bank up one more Hydro Cannon, and I do. Opponent is closing in on that Shadow Ball, but doesn't really matter because we have an Azumarill in the back. Shadow Ball connects, Pangoro goes down. Coming now with the Azumarill, I get 3 bubbles. Honestly, kudos to you, Harjeff, for running a spicier pick like Spiritomb. Kudos to you as well for running Cradily and the Shadow Drapion safe swap. It's such a fun team. Cradily Double Dark, very, very difficult to play that against a Pangoro team. Excuse me. I just need to get this Pokemon within Hydro Cannon range. I think it's going to be really close. Harjeff still has a little bit of energy on that Cradily. I'm able to get off this Hydro Cannon now. This is going to be neutral damage versus the Cradily, but it's still enough to get the job done. And honestly, for a disastrous lead that he had, that game came really, really down to the wire. So kudos again to one of the best in LATAM, Harjeff. Next battle, Diggersby in the lead. We really love to see this Pokemon. We have a fighting type and 2 waters, so Diggersby is going to be up crap creek without a paddle if we play this right. I'm going to go for a bait here. This is a little bit cheeky. Maybe I should not have done this because the opponent calls it. They freaking call the Night Slash, which is crazy. That's honestly wild. But I go ahead and shield here. It's just a Fire Punch, unfortunately. And at this point, my opponent does not throw a Charge Attack Party. They threw an additional Quick Attack there. Close Combat does pick up the KO. I'm getting ready to swap. Opponent comes in with Golisopod. Now it's Morpeko in the back. This just got really, really tricky. Diggersby in the lead, Morpeko in the back. Like I said, core breakers for this team, Toxapex Superior, and the Electric Mouse, not named Pikachu. That Charge Attack does connect. It's so devastating, and I really don't have a lot of ways to deal with this Pokemon. So I'm forced to throw the Ice Beam. They let it through, though. So maybe a little bit of Hopium here. Gonna come in with the Feraligatr. I get denied a Shadow Claw. Love that. Love that. That's really cool. Aura Wheel does get shielded up. I'm gonna look for the Shadow Claw down. Opponent goes back into Golisopod, but as you can tell, this is looking really tough. I think the Morpeko banked the charge attack on the swap out as well. And when the X-Scissor is loaded, my Pangoro is not safe at all whatsoever against this Golisopod. So I'm in a really difficult spot. I actually tried this team after this video. I played it for a couple sets. It did not work as well for me as it did in this particular battle, but still, it's fun to try things. Hydro Cannon does connect. Pangoro comes in. They wait it out. They throw the X-Scissor. I think this is going to be enough to KO, even though I'm a fighting type. They throw the Aqua Jet, actually, which does, I think, probably even more damage, and then Shadow Claw all the way down. There you go, everybody. That is a fun team with Pangoro, Shadow Feraligatr, and Azumarill. Again, some very prominent core breakers, so I don't think it's like the best team in the world, but it's a fun one. It's a short one, and I wanted to show you what I was playing these days. But that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Leave me a comment down below if you feel so inclined to do so, and I'll catch you very soon.